Okay, in today's class, we are going to basically get a brief introduction about the chapter 1 banking companies. Now, since we all know we have been making financial statements for a very long time so far, it's very important to understand why exactly will be there a need for us to prepare a separate financial accounts for banking companies. Now we all know what are the basic functions of a bank. A bank basically has a function of accepting of deposits and lending of loans. Now in order to increase the circulation of the blocked money, that is, we are trying to utilize money as a function for which bank acts as a mediator. So what generally does bank do is, bank basically collects money deposits in the form of savings, current or fixed deposits, and then bank as a mediator lends this particular amount of money as loans in terms of cash credit, in terms of discounting of bills, giving long term loans, or also in terms of letter of credit. Now for this amount of money which is lent by the bank, a bank generally tends to charge interest. Interest is also one of the basic source of income or revenue, whatever we call it. This is a income that is charged, and while we are preparing financial accounts of a banking company, one important thing that has to be kept into mind is that there is a different financial statement that is prepared in a different format as prescribed by the Reserve Bank of India. So what all does this thing includes? This basically includes that banks tend to charge interest. All the kind of interest which is charges as a basic primary function of a bank will go in schedule 13, and all other relevant income that a bank is earning while you lending loans or any other services which a bank is giving, that all will appear under your other income, which will come under schedule 14. Now similarly, when a bank has earned the income because of all of these sources, a bank itself alone cannot retain all the amount of income. A bank will basically be liable in order to give return to the people who have contributed to the money here in terms of saving, current or fixed. So all the income that is getting transferred, that basically means we're talking about specifically interest. So all interest that is transferred to the people who have contributed to the income will come under schedule 15, and all other expenses which a bank tends to incur will come under schedule 16. So this was basically an overview, and in the next class we will be discussing as to what are the items which are going in your P&L account.
Okay, hello. So today we are going to discuss as to how exactly we are going to maintain the format for banking company accounts. So while we are discussing our format, we have to take into consideration two important things. One is your balance sheet and one is your P&L account. So there would be a total of 16 schedules which we are going to prepare in total of banking company accounts, amongst which first 12 would be going to your balance sheet and the remaining 13 to 16 would become a part of your P&L account. Now before starting your P&L account, let us see as to how exactly the format looks. The format basically looks like this, and we are going to discuss every single element of this particular format. Now starting with your profit and loss account, income is included in as interest earned in schedule 13. Other incomes becomes a part of your schedule 14. Then we total up all together incomes and we make a total of A, that is total of all incomes. Then we go to our expenditure column. We write interest expended, which comes a part of your schedule 15. Operating expenses forms a part of your schedule 16, and then your other contingencies, we do not generally have a schedule. The figures are put up here. Then a total of B is created, creating a total of your expenditure in your P&L account. Next, coming down to your profit and loss. Now when you're arriving at your profit and loss figure, the first figure says profit and loss account for the year, that is for A and B. That basically means we are required to prepare whatever was the difference between total A, that is your income minus your expenditure, will come down here. So 13 14 you add, 15 16 you add, and the difference between this total and this total will come down here. Next, this is basically a figure that is called as profit and loss brought forward from the previous year ka balance sheet will have to be written down here. Adding these two figures, you will get down the total C. Then we are basically writing our appropriations. So first item under my appropriation will go down to transfer to statutory reserve. Now, statutory reserve is basically that kind of reserve which is compulsorily maintained by the banks. Now, this is a particular guideline which is given by the Reserve Bank of India in order to maintain at least 25% of the current year's profit as reserves with the bank themselves. Now, this basically will generally be charged upon your current year ka profit, which we derived from deducting total A and total B, will come down here. So 25% of my current year profit will be charged to my statutory reserve. It is compulsory even if the question is silent about, or if the question is not mentioning as to transferring to general reserve, we will put down the amount here. Next we go down to our transfer to other reserve. Other reserves only in case if it is given we shall make a transfer to this, otherwise it shall be avoided. Next one is your dividend proposed. So dividend proposed, it is basically on the paid up capital and not on the profit like we just calculated here. It's always on the paid up capital received by the bank. Then later, after which, one very important to be taken into consideration is always your total C and your total D tends to match. After arriving on total C, we basically write the same figure in total D, and we charge 25% of the statutory reserve on the profit and loss for the year, current year. We write it here, and the difference between these two, the current year ka the total of D and the statutory reserve, the balance will basically be transferred to your balance sheet, which will be called as your final profit and loss figure.
Alright, so taking our format of profit or loss account ahead, now let us discuss as to what all forms a component of your schedules under income, expenditure, profit and loss and appropriation. So starting from the first one, it says schedule 13, interest earned. One basic consideration to be always kept in mind that all primary activities of a banking firm tend to appear in schedule 13, that is all income that is earned by a banking business by its primary activities of accepting loans or lending accepting deposits or lending loans. Now in this, first items forms your part of interest discounting on advance bills. So whenever there are some kind of loans or advances which are given by the bank in terms of cash credit, in terms of demand loan or overdraft, or maybe when a bank is involved in discounting of domestic or foreign bills, it tends to earn some interest. So that income is written in your schedule 13. Moving on to the next one, when income on investment. So a bank generally does not gives away every deposit as loans. It also tends to invest some amount of money in the market in terms of its portfolio. So it can be equity, preference, debenture, stocks, etc., mutual funds. So all of that income derived from investments made in the market will be included in your second head in your interest earned. Moving on to the third one, it says interest on balance with RBI. Sometimes there are situations where the bank maintains balance with the Reserve Bank of India. Now obviously there will be some kind of a revenue earned because of this. So all the revenue earned when the bank is maintaining a balance with Reserve Bank of India will go under the head interest earned. Or interbank funds. So when one bank and the other bank are transacting amongst each other in the form of loans, the lending bank tends to earn some income. So that income will become a part of your interest earned. And under others, all the incomes which are not included in all the three above will come down here in your other income. So we tend to total down all the four, write it here, and the final balance will be taken ahead in the profit and loss statement prepared as per the format. Now moving on to the next one, it says other income. Other income basically means all the income which a banking firm is earning apart from its basic primary business activity will appear in my schedule 14 under the head other income. Now starting with the first one, commission, exchange and brokerage. Now we all know banking does not only include accepting of deposits or lending of loans. There are many more services that a bank provides to its customers. Now all those services can have collection of funds, exchange of funds, remitting of funds, transferring of funds, letter of credit, you have providing of lockers to the customers. So on all the income which is earned because of all of these factors will go under your commission, exchange or brokerage. Moving on to the second one, profit on sale of investments. So when you have some investments like securities, furniture, land, building, etc., and when you are selling these investments, the profit that is got generated, we will write it here, and in case if there is a loss, we will write it here. Revaluation of investments. Revaluation, the bank can basically have some assets in the form of gold and silver. So in case if they revaluate, sometimes they may also show a profit on revaluation or a loss, which will generally come here. Profit on sale of land and building or other assets. So in case of any of these which is sold by a bank, and if there is a profit that is getting generated, we will write it here, otherwise loss will be written here. Next, profit on exchange transactions. A banking business also deals with certain transactions involving foreign currency. So in case if the banking business is earning some profit on exchange transaction, we will write it here, otherwise we will deduct the loss on exchange transaction. Income that is earned by the way of dividend. So in case any kind of money that has got invested by the bank in some other company, whether in India or not, or in abroad, so those income also shall be written down here. Now miscellaneous income will include go down rent, any security charge, any insurance charge, etc., and then all of this will come down together, forming a total of schedule 14, which will be taken directly to your P&L account. Next, moving on to the next one, my schedule says schedule 15, that is my interest expended. Now again repeating the same fact what we studied in schedule 13, that says all primary activities of a banking business will be getting considered here, and all because of the primary activities, in case if there is some interest that is going out of the bank, if the bank is earning expending expense is getting incurred, all that will be written down in schedule 15. So first one will have interest on deposits. So we all know generally where does the money come from in the bank. As we saw in the first video, it generally comes from people who make their deposits with in the form of savings, in the form of recurring deposits or fixed deposits. So all of those have to be returned back with a percentage of interest on whatever deposits they have given to the bank. So that will be written in my schedule 15, interest expended. Next one, interest on Reserve Bank of India or interbank borrowings. So if there are certain cases when the bank has borrowed from Reserve Bank of India or any other bank, the bank will be liable, the borrowing bank will be liable to pay interest on their borrowings. Okay, I hope this is clear. And next, moving on to others. So in case if the bank is liable to pay any discount, any interest to any other refinancing agency, that all will be written down under others. Under the head interest expended, you total this together and the final total will be taken to your format of your P&L account. Coming down to the next one, we are going to study our last schedule under your P&L account, that is your schedule 16, operating expenses. Now under operating expenses, first one comes down payment and provision for employees. Now this basically includes staff salary, wages, allowance. We pay bonus to our employees during various occasions. There are expenses regarding pension, gratuity, medical allowance to staff. So all of these expenses are definitely not about the primary activity of the bank. That is the reason how it comes down under forming a part of your schedule 16 in your operating expenses. Then it is rent, light, advertising, printing, stationery. Okay, now when it comes down to fees and all are all additional expenses. Law charges will basically include legal expenses and services which are taken by the bank, stamp charges, etc. Next, insurance, other expenditure. Now it's important to know what comes under other expenditure. Other expenses will include licensing fee in case the bank is giving donation to somebody else, if the bank has subscribed to some journals, books, periodicals, all of those expenses will be included in other expenses. So all of these other expenses will be written down in here. So when you make a total of all of this, the final total balance will be taken forward to make a part of your format of P&L account. Okay, so let us start discussing our first illustration, that is from the following particulars of Krishna Bank Limited. Prepare a profit or loss account for the year ending 2016-17. So there are various items of trial balance that are mentioned here and we shall go about discussing them one after the other. So first one says your interest on loan. interest on loan basically means when a bank has given loan to somebody else, and generally on the loans given you tend to earn income. So this is a item which will form a part of your schedule 13. Next, moving on to interest on fixed deposit. Fixed deposit basically means when any individual or any firm has given deposits to the bank, and bank is liable to give them interest, that is your incurring of expenditure. So this will form a part of your schedule 15. Rebate on bills discounted, this is a balance sheet item because it is just an information given on rebate, and we will have further discussion as to how we are treating bills of discount, especially on rebate. Next, coming down to your commission charged to customer. Commission charged on customer, basically additional services which are given by the bank, forms a part of your other income. So other income will form a part of your schedule 14. Moving on to the next one, office expenses. Office expenses are your other expenditure that is not forming a part of your primary business activity, goes in your schedule 16. Next, discount on bills discounted, primary business activity, anything because of which a bank will generate income, so it will go in schedule 13. So interest on cash credit, again a source where the bank will earn income because it has helped another customer in giving cash credit. It's your income to the bank, will form a part of your schedule 13. Balance to your P&L account, we will see this thing later, it's a balance carried forward. Directors remuneration are all additional or other operating expenses of a bank wherein which your incurring expenditure will form a part of your 16 schedule. Interest on saving deposits, so when anybody has contributed to the deposit for the bank, bank is liable to pay interest. Interest means money is going out of the firm, so it is interest expended which will go in your schedule 15. Postal expenses are all forming a part of your other expenditure, will go in your schedule 16. Printing stationery, expenses of your other expenses, operating expenditure will form a part of your schedule 16. Other expenses, again operating expense, additional expense which is incurred by the banking, forms in your schedule 16. Rent and taxes, again other expenditure, will be in your schedule 16. Interest on overdraft. Overdraft basically means a bank has given a facility to a customer or a business firm in order to withdraw more than his capacity of what a bank balance a person usually has. So on this the bank will generate some income. Income will generally be flowing inside the business, so this will be your interest earned, will form a part of your schedule 13. So taking all of this into consideration, this is how exactly your format will basically be created. So this is your schedule 14 which will have only one, your schedule 15 and your schedule 16 on interest expended, total balances, operating expenses and your total balances. Now what exactly are we going to do with all of these balances is that we are going to just take the total balances and transfer this to your profit and loss account ka format. So after we are drawing the profit and loss account statement, the statement will generally look like this. So the total of your income under schedule 13 will get transferred here. Other incomes is 910. Your total of A will be formed. Next, taking your expenditure into consideration, interest expended under schedule 15 and your operating expenses under schedule 16. When you add this both together, you will arrive at a figure 61,840. Next, in order to arrive at the third one, that is in order to understand, that is during the year whether the bank has incurred loss or earned a profit, what are we going to do is we are going to deduct income and expenditure. Like I told you earlier, income will form a part of your schedule 13-14, expenditure will form a part of your 15-16 and the total balance of these two, that is 90,410 and 61,840, when they are deducted together you arrive at this particular figure which is the profit for your current year. Now profit brought forward was already seen in the question, so we have directly brought this from the trial balance and we add these together, we arrive at a figure 29,770 which forms a part of your total C. Now one more very important thing to be taken into consideration is always your total C and total D has to match. So total C balance and total D balance has to match. So what do we usually do is we carry down the same amount of figure and write as a balance of total D. Then we come down to our appropriations telling transfer to statutory reserve at 25%. Now this is basically a guideline which is given by the Reserve Bank of India that mandatorily, compulsorily a bank has to maintain statutory reserve to the extent of 25% upon your current profit. So current profit is here. So 25% of 28,570 will give us 7,143. So total D we already had, like we discussed, total C and total D should always be the same. When I am minusing total D, 29,770 minus 7,143 will give me the figure 22,623, which will be my final balance that I will carry forward to my balance sheet for the current year. Okay, now let us discuss the second illustration of the chapter banking companies. Now the question says, from the following prepare a profit or loss account of Global Bank Limited for the year 2015-16. The first item in our trial balance stands for interest on overdraft. Now interest on overdraft basically is that facility which is given by any bank to its customer, especially current account holders, in order to withdraw more amount than their account balance is allowing them to do. So because people are overdrawing more account from that balance, obviously the bank is giving them more loans, right? So if bank is giving them loans, it is obviously accepted that on the given loan, bank will accept something in return. So that return will become interest. So interest on overdraft is a part of your income of your primary business banking activity. So this will go in your schedule 13. Next, going on to your bad debts written off, this will be a part of your provision and contingency. Next comes your commission. Commission is generally charged on all the other services which is provided by the bank to its customers. So this will become a part of your other income falling in the schedule 14. Next coming your interest expended. Interest expended basically means all the kind of expense that is incurred by the bank on paying interest to the people who have contributed to the deposits of the bank. Alright, so this is a basically thing which will come down in your schedule 15, which is any kind of expense incurred on your primary business activity of banking. Next comes your salary. Salary basically other expenses of banking. That is when you pay salary to your employees, forms a part of other expenses, not a part of your primary business activity. So it will come down in schedule 16. So after we have understood all of these figures, let us understand see how schedules will be made. Your schedules will somehow look like these. So interest, other income, interest expended and your other expenses. So since there is only one item, so that itself will become a total. And after you get a total, your P&L account will get carried forward with some balances. So after you prepare your P&L account to look like this, so interest earned 3 lakhs, other income 50, adding together total A will become 3 lakh 50. Then your expenditure, schedule 15, schedule 16, total of expenditure put together, plus since we spoke about bad debts in the question, bad debts will become a part of your provision contingency, and when we add all these three figures together, we will arrive at total B. Then after which there is a need for us to find out as to from your income and expense, did the banking company earn a profit or not? So for that we will move on to our third thing, that is your profit and loss. To calculate the current year ka profit or loss will do, we'll write down profit or loss for the current year, deducting income and deducting by expenditure. So that is why we say A minus B. Total of A 3 lakh 50, total of B 1 lakh 60. So if you are, this is 1 lakh 69, sorry. So if you minus A minus B, you will get the figure of 1 lakh 81,000. Then you have profit and loss that is brought forward from the last year. This is already given in the balance sheet, I mean trial balance of the question. So it comes down to 15,000. When I am adding my both the profits together, I come down to 1 lakh 96,000. Next comes my appropriation ka balance. Now it is always understood that my total C balance and my total D balance has to match. 1 lakh 96, 1 lakh 96. Now in appropriation, my first adjustment will be transferred to my statutory reserve. Statutory reserve basically is the guideline which is given by the Reserve Bank of India to maintain at least 25% of minimum balance with the bank themselves, and upon which are we charging is it is charged upon profit or loss for the current year, which we calculated right here. So upon 1 lakh 81,000 we will create a provision to statutory reserves to the extent of 25%, which will come down to 1,81,000 into 25% will give me 45,250. Now since we already saw total of C, total of D will both match, and then when we are deducting statutory reserves after transferring of 45,250, so 1,96,000 minus 45,250, the remaining amount of my profit, that is 1,57,50, will be carried forward to my balance sheet. So this was basically a format of your P&L account.